Well, hello again. Imagine that. 10:52 a.m. Friday, May 11th, 2018. Again, a reason for another video. Anyway, this I better zoom in. There we go. Whoop. That's important for a reason. Before I get started, I need to, excuse me, say something before I forget. One thing I never did talk about, and it's not in the book number 3, but it will be. Just a minute. Is the stupid stuff bugging me. Is spontaneous ignition, where people just seem to blow up all of a sudden, and they've explained it away by all of a sudden out of nowhere intensive heat builds up inside a body and it burns itself to death. We don't know, it just does it. Well, it's not burning itself to death. What that is literally something being killed, murdered, assassinated, a person, that is. Our friends in space running around, they're not in the Stone Age as we are. And I've mentioned a few times, many times, that they have scanners that they can use to actually see our spirit inside and locate it. There's a database that's available to everyone in the third dimension. In our universe, that has this access to this information of which energy has had what lives, the different energy frequencies found in the spirit and the body. And sometimes folks would find someone who's created great crimes against someone else, and they're having a life in another body, and they literally get incinerated. They get hit with an energy beam that builds up energy from somewhere inside the body and then burns outward. But if you notice, it always happens around the chest cavity and or brain. It's because it's kill shots. Those who have done this more than anyone else are the Enog. E-N-A-U-G-K. It's almost like a G-H-K. You could almost spell it like that too. But anyway, I've stopped sales on the third book, and I'm by the time you get this video, I've stopped them on the first book too. Because now that I've been kept here long enough by my own energy outside of my body, I have to make a change to the first book about the first universe and the first souls. And then for book number 3, I have to put in that same information. Almost finished doing that real early this morning, but not quite yet. But the information about the first souls, but something else is happening in the next few days that has to go into book 3. I've told all of you that you're such the smallest part of yourself that's in your brain running it and running your body, and the rest of you is flowing outside it. Strongest and most intelligent and powerful part of yourself is in the brain. Then the next thing is the core, and then after that it's your energy coming out of you. And all the stuff is in the book, third book. But I was not aware of the fact that there was a first, another universe. So we were the second universe, not the first. All this stuff, my intention was anything else that needs to be done, I'll just give to Deanna when she rewrites the book. But I've told you before that almost all of me was drained out of me, and then some more of myself that was flowing outside of that filter with disconnects, emotional ties. All of you have it. All of us have it. Everything living has it that's in a body. Some of that was put in me, so it gave me a little extra energy without any aggression from memories of all the fighting. So the strongest part of what I am, just like you, is still in this body. But the rest of me that was in here, that is taken out, it's starting to do stuff. And I got annoyed when I found out about this, but it's correct. It's what needs to happen. These books I'm leaving you, they need to be complete. So there was one little thing that I wasn't aware of and that I have to put back in there now. When I wrote that first book, I just finished getting rid of the original first being male and female. I was fighting like a son of a bitch. I'm no better than nothing else. But if you try to relate to things in your life to things in my life, you're not on a proper scale. Okay, it's different. I know a lot of people get bothered, but if you knew what I actually go through, and there's a few of you that do, and what I have to continually deal with, on your worst day, it's like a good day I never get to have. That's okay. I'm not crying about it. I'm tired and I'm sick, but you don't see any tears in my eyes. It's just the way things are. But I'm, in many ways, in most all ways, I'm like a tank. I'm made for this. Just really wore out. So anyway, I couldn't see that before, didn't have access to it. Remember, with the little piece of you that's in these bodies, these are like tar pits. I've explained that to a lot of people. There's a lot of reasons why you can't access who you really are and what you know. To try to take that information, if everything else was applicable and ready for that to happen, trying to put your information into a physical brain from anywhere is literally like, putting your head in a microwave oven. Bada boom. So anyway, so I've also told you all for a long time that it's time for everyone to know about each other. You don't have to hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Nothing wrong with that, but there's no need for everyone to do that. It's whatever you want to do. You finally are entering a world, a creation, where you finally have so much free will, it's ridiculous. You've never had it. You were told you had it, just like governments, they say you have something. This is the progressive party. That's the party that puts chains on you. That's progressing, but not in the right direction. Excuse me, they put names on stuff that are just totally the opposite. Anyway, that's another reason they want to dumb everyone down. So that's why they've been doing it for a long time, especially here in the U.S. Manufacturers, and they consume a lot. We used to manufacture a lot, but now we've become the greatest consumer. Everything was done to a plan. The things that made the plan are dead. But, hey there, Fly, having fun? So anyway, because I can see it now, it must go into the book number 1. So I'm stopping sales on that book. I've already stopped sales on book 3. And I'm putting the right information into it. Folks, this is costing me time. It's costing me money. I'm not doing it because I want to. Well, no, I am, but the reason why I'm doing this is because it needs to be done, period. I'm not giving you all the information that I'm aware of. There's something I missed. It's got to go in there no matter what it costs to me. So anyway, now having talked to you about how we all, even though we don't hold hands and sing Kumbaya, even though we don't have to sit at the same table to eat dinner or a meal, we need to be aware of each other. Well, things are going farther than that. I've talked about the Alliance of Planets, that would eventually, the name would be changed to the Alliance of Life. That's about to happen. I've talked about Lily and Arae, the primary focal points, the primary Lily and what's inside me, of literally guiding everyone, but not trying to run affairs, letting you do what you want as long as there's no abuse, and we'll offer help to help you get in the right direction. Well, how am I so bold as to say that? Well, I've had 10.846 plus trillion lives. That's why I understand. First lives I ever had was this Lily and I. So what's going to happen now? These new members of the first universe were just came in to see. I explained that in the last video. If you haven't seen it, I'll put that last video, I'll attach it to this video so you have access to it. It'll be the first one that pops up. I'm just going to go backwards in procession so you can go wherever you want to go. I'm just trying to help you have information. But anyway, so what's going to happen is already something happened yesterday. We'll talk about that in a minute, but just for a quick summary, these new people from the first universe, they were an experiment, and the original first being male and female were not happy. The first universe, the original one, it's about a third the size of this. The people in it, the souls that were in there, are very softer. They're weaker. They're not as strong. The idea there in the original first being's mind was that they were going to be able to put out more of them. They were going to be more and more and more praise givers to them. But they were experimenting, and the physical bodies look a little different. They're a little weaker. Things are easier. Their lives are much easier. They're happier. And the original first being, after a certain amount of time, they said, this ain't working. So they built the second universe and then released the 5 waves of souls. So it was an experiment. They learned from it, and they realized, no, we have to have something we can beat up harder to make it grow more. There's your loving God, huh? Anyway, something happened yesterday. I met the heads of their group, and they finished becoming official members of this Alliance of Planets. Excuse me. So now I was talking with other parts of myself, plus looking at my own self that's out of this body. Again, I can't talk with it. I communicate, but it's not through talk. And there was one more thing that had to be done, and that is, at this new seat, the Alliance of Planets, there will be part of the primary Lily and Arae, both having a seat in it. Not to control how everything goes, but to help people, to offer guidance when people want it. And if something's about to go really wrong, to give a concerned warning, not like a lethal warning, just to say this is going to cause a problem, here it is. If something needs to be dealt with, it'll be dealt with. If something needs to be stopped, it's going to be stopped. Nothing's going to stop that. But the idea is to just be there to offer advice when wanted. Otherwise, just, have a presence there. So that'll happen in a few days. So by the time I finish fixing book 1 and have it back in print, I'm going to have to pay to do that all over again. Then we'll go into, and that'll be the 3rd version of it. By the time that's done, right about that time, I'll be forced to, I'll get knocked out again, just like I did yesterday. I'll talk about that in a second. And then that meeting will happen, and then I'll have the date, and I'll put that date in the book 3. That'll be part of it. So I'm finished. I'm done. Anything else that my own energy outside of my body thinks it's going to have done or wants me to do while I'm here ain't going to happen. I've already stopped taking my blood pressure medicine. They're keeping me hyped up to keep going. They're keeping me alive. I've told them by doing that, I'm done. So, quiet, tummy. So it's time for them to get their act together. My stomach's getting... Anyway, I'm not staying here any longer for anyone. I understand the need to do this to complete the book's information. But that's it. Anything else that happens later will come out from Deanna. It'll come out in the 3rd book. Deanna can write much better than myself. She's from Spain, but she's been here in the U.S. 18, 19 years or something. So, and her schooling was very good, very strong. And my English is very poor as far as putting proper words together, and her thought process is smoother. So I asked her to write when she rewrites these books, to rewrite them, and just make it a new version in her name. She'll use me as a co-author, but to use her words. And that takes some of the I out of it. I've had to talk about things that I've done, and I don't like that. It leaves a nasty feeling in my stomach, but it's whatever I got to do. I have to do to get the job done, so I can finally move on and get out of here. So she's not too happy with that thought process. She wants to keep it the same, but we'll deal with that later. I want my information. My information will keep going. More and more people start buying the books and everything. But I want to be the janitor that comes in to work in the office building when the people are already going home, or when they're already home, and do my work when no one's there. I'm not afraid of nothing. I'm not ashamed of anything. It's just I don't want anything to. I'm trying to stay out of the limelight, and in a way that's hard when you're the one doing things. That's all. Anyway, so that's what's going on, and then after that's happened, I'm going to get on to make a video of it showing you the time date, and then tell you about what happened. And then once the books are back up the other book is back up for sale, I'll get back on the internet and tell you that it's done, it's for sale. Now, these new versions, these new editions being put in the books, we're taking that and we're putting it on the website, on the spiritualfoundation.com. You'll have free access to it. You can download it, print it, do whatever you want. That's the only way we can get that done. I have to do this. I have to finish it. I ain't staying here. I've been wanting to leave, as all of you know, since 2015. And this body can't keep functioning. And that part of me, I have a little faith, is smart enough to know that. As I say that, I feel that it does, is trying to maybe find a way to pick a line where it stops, but that's okay. After I'm done with everything, I want 3 to 4 days to relax, and then if I don't start getting shut down, then I'll attack that part of myself. I'm well aware how insane this is to so many people, because these people aren't aware of who they are yet. And you have to be that before you can start seeing what's going on. You have to wake up before you can see any of this. So I sound like a raving madman to some people. I understand that. That's one reason. That's the main reason. That's almost the only reason. I had to go into put myself in a rehab center so I would be not attacked but scrutinized by 2 different boards of psychiatrists. And they all gave me a clean bill of health, no heavy medicine. Of course, the lung medication I take is real strong. The heart medication I was taking is strong. But anyway, other than that stuff, nothing. No psycho whatever drugs. And none of them wanted me back. They said, you don't need to come back. If you want to talk to us, give us a call. But you don't need another appointment. Get out of here. Keep going with what you're doing. I had to do that to prove that what I'm telling you, that I'm not nuts. And that leads you to think, to understand, but to think, okay, if they're letting loose of me and they're not putting them on drugs, then, apparently they're satisfied. The other small part of the reason was to introduce information to them, because a lot of these medical doctors, neurologists, genealogists, different scientists, psychiatrists, these folks were interested in a quantitative electrical encephalogram because they know what it is. They know how impossible it is. You would need an extensive computer program that doesn't even exist yet to fake one of those, to fake all the results and have it match. So, and then after I'm gone, the DNA proof will come out about me changing people's DNA. So, and all that is about having a reason for those people that aren't awake and can't feel and they're not talking with the spirit guides yet, it gives them a reason to want to start finding out more. That's all it's about. Now, back to yesterday. I told you in the last video that I was told by first polar bear came to me first, then it was a huge Kodiak bear, part of my own energy. Animal energy is part of source. And it was saying, I got to talk to you, this thing's coming, blah, blah, blah. And then I saw he said space, and I just relaxed. I looked out and I saw 3 huge ships and 4 other ones coming. And the beings on there were different. I know the folks out here in this, universe, and they're different. I said, they are 1.349. The first universe is 1.349, 1.329. All right, depends on how you look at it. Their clock or ours. But let's just say over 1.3 eons older than us, but that's by using a universal time clock. We have one here that we use out in the universe. I can't tell you, in Earth years, it's a little over 4 eons, and I think an eon is like, to me, the eon is like a billion. So these first souls that were made, like I said, they're really weak. They're happier about stuff. They don't grow as much. So that experiment, in the eyes of the original first being male and female, was a failure. But they're nice, happy people. So anyway, by Earth years, like I said, it's a little over 4 billion years after starting that first universe that they made this second one, the one we live in. But all that information that's in the book is going to be at thespiritualfoundation.com. It's free. For Microsoft, they have something called a snipping tool. And you can snip out each page. and download it. Or there's all kinds of ways for y'all to do that. Y'all are smart in that stuff, not me. I told you about the spontaneous combustion thing. So anyway, yesterday, it was about 2 o'clock again. I got knocked out. I had a hard time getting to sleep. The head representatives of the first dimension, excuse me, not the first dimension, of the first universe in this third dimension. They were in one ship, a large one. They came out and they came into the atmosphere, and that's when I had to go lay down. And again, it was before 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is way too early for me. Anyway, 8 o'clock or something, sometimes later, 10 o'clock. Since I quit taking the heart meds, more energy's kicking me up to keep me going, and they're keeping my heart from popping, along with an aneurysm. It's right here in my head. Anyway, they came in, and then I saw them while I was still conscious, and I saw their ship stopped it. They stopped, and because they were coming right over here to the house. They don't know what they see here. The way they live is so much simpler and easy, and it's compared to this universe, it's like fluffy puffy. So I could see the ship. I saw the ship. I looked at it, saw them in it, and then I saw this strong purple field building around it. Then it had some other colors in it, and then the ship was just it just literally disappeared and reappeared out in space, and that's when I shut down and finally fell asleep. And then I didn't get up till after 8 p.m. So that was 6 hours. I was talking with them and the Alliance. They signed the paperwork, so to speak. You don't have pens and stuff, but that's our way to understand it. And they are part of the Alliance. And then I woke up and couldn't go to sleep for about another 4 hours or 6 hours or something. I don't know. And I already had told Deanna that night that what had happened, and she can see this stuff. Especially once you start saying something or someone else starts saying something, you relax, you go to it, and then you start seeing more about what happened. And the natural thing from the way we've all been raised on this planet is, oh, well, someone put that suggestion in my head. No, they told you something. You either feel good about it or you don't. And then when you take that farther, you're seeing something for yourself. Have faith in it. And when you find out that there's a correction to be made, good, you're moving forward. The only way you're ever wrong is by stopping and not continuing to awaken, to grow up into who you are. And remember, ascending, well, there's no fifth dimension to ascend to. Number one is below us. Number two, when you're out of your body is when you're of a higher frequency. When people ascend and they disappear, that's your spirit coming out of the body. You leave the body behind, it dies. Anyway, so they're now officially part of the Alliance of Planets, and it's only a matter of days. It should be early next week, but sometime by mid next week at the latest, I expect. I can't tell you for sure because it's me outside of the body that's doing it, and I can't access it. I'm too weak. Anyway, then that'll happen, and I'll tell you about it. Then I'll write it into the book. So put out a new copy of the book. The books that we bought, we finished on page 74 in book 3. I put a date in there of 2018. That's actually 2015. I said the wrong year, and then there's the numerology screw up, and then now I'm adding the this going back. I went back into the book already, started writing in this first universe into the beginning of the book where it belongs, the brief history of creation, and then also I'll be putting in a new chapter about after it happens. I can't do it until after it happens, when the spirit, a part of Lily and Arae, says that they set up for the other side to be in the alliance of planets, and then it becomes the alliance of life. So, when I told you about the alliance of planets become the alliance of life, that's why. I didn't know that. Don't ever expect anyone to be able to do everything, because you can't, especially while you're in a body. There is no God thing, never has been. You were told it was. It was all to raise more, stronger praise machines. And they only wanted you stronger so you could later release more. More praise, more praise. Original first being. Now gone. Anyway, that's what's going on. At first, I got real mad about being kept here, but honestly, it's what needs to be done. It's hard for me to leave here when these books are so important for people to have. And when those of us here on Earth start talking more and habitating, living with ETs from other planets, they have that information. Not about the first universe and everything, but they have more of an understanding. They'll verify stuff that I say. They will tell you when council was made, when it happened. You compare it to what I told you. It's going to line up pretty damn good. So, yesterday I was trying to get out of that, when I got knocked out from sometime after 2 to 8. I was desperately trying to wake up and get out of bed, and I couldn't. I knew I was in bed. I was aware of what was around me. I was trying to grab something to get up out of bed, and I couldn't. So at one point, Deanna had come near me. She knew what was going on. She put a bottle of water near me. I have to keep drinking water so my muscles don't cramp up, but I can't drink too much because the liver won't send the water where it needs to go, so I just keep getting bigger. Got that small leak in the side of my leg that's slowed down because I have to stay here a little longer. It doesn't soak my pants anymore. It keeps leaking. It's all just to get this done. But I tried to get out of bed. I couldn't. I couldn't make myself conscious again because the real me was out of the body and was telling my body, just shut the hell up. We're busy taking care of important stuff, and that was getting that first universe members, tied in. It's not just one planet over there, it's the whole group. It's a big meeting. And there will be, like I said, the new 2 seats in the council for the other side. We don't have planets over there. So that's why it's changing its name to the Alliance of Life as soon as that happens. So, it'd be a lot easier on me if I had access to all this information, but exactly when something's going to happen, I don't know. While I'm in a body, let me change that. As far as when something's going to happen relative to what I'm doing outside of the part of me that's outside of this body, to the decisions it's going to make, I don't have that. I can't tell you what it's going to do, what the decisions it's going to make, but I can tell you As soon as this thing is done and over, where we change the alliance of planets, I'll put it in the books. I'll get on the video again on YouTube, but I'm going to tell you what happened, and then I'm shutting down. And after about 4 days, if I'm not getting where I need to be to leave, I'll take care of it. Thank you. For those of you that can see that, the lights just flickered hard, and that's part of me inside just saying, you know, that's what'll happen. I said, good. I'm not staying. And I ain't afraid of crap. I'm mad this creation still exists. Anyway, whatever. So, sooner I get out of here, the sooner the proper changes are made. Folks, I tell you I love you because I do. Everyone and everything. Those of you that know me, you understand. Those of you that don't know me, if you care to, in time you'll understand. If the information is hard to deal with, I'll leave it alone. Do whatever makes you happy. But this information is here. It needs to be right. And, you know, honestly, some people can be mad I didn't get it right the first time, but who does? That's how you learn. It's by you actually evolve your thought process. You become a better person. Not better than anyone else, but better than who you were. You improve yourself from learning how to do things better. That doesn't mean you're imperfect, you're making mistakes. Everyone does that. If not, you don't exist. So just keep going. So, if it was an issue for me, I wouldn't even do it. I'd just say screw it. Screw them and just get out of the body. But home, you don't go there. Anyway, look, folks, love you, man. Take care and have as much fun as you can, and things are changing. Things are good. They really are. And this will all be cleared up very soon. So, I'll be able to leave, and things will be the best they could possibly be until I get home. Y'all take care, man. Have a good one.